What's up, Internet, and welcome to episode 83 of Radio Radar. I'm Hollander Cooper, and here with me is...
Henry Gilbert.
Lucas Sullivan.
Lorenzo Valoria.
Anthony Schneider.
And this episode's a little weird because there are cameras looking at us.
Yeah, what's up?
Our video team wanted to experiment with recording our podcast with a video camera. So there are 3 cameras currently looking at us, and one of them is a GoPro stuck to a wall that I guarantee you is going to fall by the end of this.
That's a tiny arse GoPro.
And it's got like this little gyro sensor thing, so when you rotate it, it just keeps the image stable.
That's the GoPro
Gamble?
difference.
Is that what they call that?
Image stabilization, baby.
But yeah, it's been a pretty cray week. But let's start by jumping into the top 7. It's the top 7. And it's the top 7 silliest weapons in totally serious games.
It was weird that he do that without Tom talking over it.
It was, right? Yeah, he's a big fan of talking over any sound clip I play. But today, Tom is busy in a meeting, so I get to hit buttons without anyone talking over them. It's kind of magical. But yeah, let's...
This is like a fun follow-up to our more serious 100 best weapons. Where we just
more
rank
serious
the
in that it only had 2 dildos on it. Only 2!
Wow.
Yeah, 2 dildos, and also the shark... homing shark gun, the land shark gun.
Right,
Land
yeah.
shark.
It was pretty silly, but while doing that, we realized that there were a lot of plenty silly video game weapons in very serious games.
Yes.
Starting with...
Number 7.
the cardboard tube from Hitman Contracts.
Now, which one was Contracts? Was that the one everyone loves?
Yeah, Blood Money's the one that everyone loves.
Depends on who you ask.
I don't think
Okay.
we know enough about
Hitman. Contracts was, I think that was the last one before Absolution, and it took place in between scenes. Though really, the chronology of Hitman is all over the place. Doesn't really matter. But Contracts was one of the later ones, and the series is a very serious series, but it's also known for silly things like
Slight silliness.
dressing as a clown or as a chicken suit.
Yeah, but you do what you got to do to kill people, and sometimes that means dressing in a chicken suit. But the thing that makes the cardboard tube so interesting is when you're dressing in a chicken suit, you're a man in a chicken suit
With a gun.
with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
The cardboard tube is unbelievably powerful. It's like hitting somebody with a sledgehammer. Like if the cardboard tube was you hit somebody with it and it breaks and doesn't do anything, probably wouldn't be on this list. But this isn't just a cardboard tube. This is a cardboard fucking tube. It is like it has a reference to like the cardboard
Sounds
tube
wrong.
samurai from Penny Arcade in it because it is just a powerful ass tube that will destroy your enemies.
How do you unlock it? It comes kind of late, right?
I don't remember. I wrote it in the article, but that was like a day ago.
It's totally legit.
Ancient history.
Ancient history. But let's move ahead on.
Number 6.
The broom from Assassin's Creed 2.
I didn't even know that was in there.
So there were a bunch of
neither did
found
I.
weapons in Assassin's Creed 2. There was like a mallet and like a rake.
Was there that many things?
Yeah, there were a
I guess
few.
anything that the NPCs were like cleaning up the environment with, you could pick up and just beat the shit out of
Yeah,
people.
so but the thing is so when you pick up a mallet, I mean, I've seen my fair share of Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
You can do some damage with a mallet.
David Gallagher.
A rake, like a big metal rake. I get it. You stab through someone. It
Ouch,
worked in The
it's gonna
Walking
hurt.
Dead. It would work here.
Pointy.
The broom in Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't break and is as powerful as a mace.
Yeah.
Despite having like straw bristles.
Yeah.
There is a wooden stick within that broom
It's a
bristle
thin
thing.
wooden stick.
Boom! Called it. The camera fell. Yes!
Wow, that was fast.
Called that shit.
Let's fix that.
You should just try to stick it back up there. But yeah, so the broom, the thing that, and the broom has actually sort of attained meme status because of that. Because like people have done pictures, because you can like stab people through the chest
Yeah.
with the bristles of the broom.
Let's do a lightning round pun off of how Ezio could, diss the people that he kills with.
All right, go.
That was a real clean sweep.
Brumilio Chestevet.
I swept you off your feet.
The camera
Damn.
fell again. We're just gonna leave that camera there.
Jeez.
Please.
Cleanup on aisle dead.
That's That's a
I
good
got
one.
nothing.
These straws are dangerous.
Eat my dust.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it is good.
Check out Dust Force by Capcom, now on
Great.
Steam.
Oh God. Let's move on.
Number 5.
The Cluck Shot from Gears of War 3. Now,
play
Gears
this
of War has had some silliness in it. It's not totally uncommon for silliness, but it is usually unlockable stuff like the Cluck Shot. And the Cluck Shot is basically the boom shot. Boom shot being a grenade launcher, except you have to do some ridiculous nonsense to unlock it, like shooting some weird chickens in some spots.
Oh yeah, you keep have to like chase a chicken around a stage, and or you have to like shout into.
Is that the golden chicken? The giant golden chicken that attacks you? That's
I
how
think
you get the
yes, I think
yeah.
so.
I remember that golden chicken. But I thought it was funny when I first previewed Gears of War 3, or when at a multiplayer preview event. I don't know if it was the first time it was playable, but in the stage they're like, here, look at that, it's a chicken. We got chickens running around, and you can shoot and kill that chicken. And I thought that was cool enough. But if they went to the trouble of making an AI chicken, they're going to use every part of that chicken.
Yep, and they did. So after you unlock it, it is a gun that shoots out chickens with explosives strapped to them. They fly through the air, but kind of float a little, so they get the trajectory. It's a little bit like a Flappy Bird. And when they hit something, they blow the F up. And if you get an active reload and you do it, they blow up in multiple giant explosions.
Oh, wow.
A cluster cluck grenade.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
What was the joke that I put in the article? I don't remember, but talk about Kung Pao chicken.
Which we
Hashtag
debated
joke of the
about
year.
spelling correctly or POW.
What are some other good puns you could do with shooting somebody with a chicken gun?
Cluck
Now
you.
that's what I call deep fried.
Ooh.
The yolk's on you.
That's an egg joke. That's not a chicken joke.
What lays eggs? Every creature.
Hens.
Let's see. Oh, okay, wait.
Cluck you.
You cluck you. All right, that's good. Yeah. No, this is an attack most foul.
That's
Who's
good.
the chicken now?
Cluckmelio Chesterfield.
We're not
Oh,
naming.
boy.
Works every time.
Cluck Gyllenhaal.
Cluck Jones is what I would call.
Number
that's a good
4.
Number 4 is the swordfish from Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within. Somebody in the comments said it's from the Two Thrones. I don't think that's the case. If it is, I'm sorry.
It doesn't look. He looks like he's in angst mode.
He does look like he's in angst mode. So yeah, you can unlock a few weapons.
Okay, never mind. He's clearly in the Two Thrones
Is he?
because he has the blackened, charred lava arm.
I thought he had like a metal thing on his arm. It's a blurry ass screenshot.
It really is. Someone needs to
Look.
get on that.
Who cares?
It's
Like,
wicked to deal with.
I just want to
PS2 era Prince of Persia.
I just want to make fun of Warrior Within. That's all. And that game was not. It was
butt. It was
had a
trash.
lot, no, it wasn't. Like it had good stuff in it. Like,
But compared to Sands of Time,
but it was drowning in angst. Like, it was-
Please let me know when you're ready to hear more.
Looking at the YouTube video, it's totally the Two Thrones.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm actually going to change that article as we do this. But so yeah, you can unlock a few different weapons, like a telephone and a
like God of War style
yeah.
swinging.
But the unlockable I thought was the funniest is the swordfish because it has the dumbest expression.
It's a trophy swordfish. It's the kind of thing you'd post on your wall proudly. You
Just-
pose for a photo.
just a big open mouth and giant eyes.
I think
Are the video guys coming in?
yes.
Video
It's time
guys, we
for-
don't want to edit our podcast. What do you
It's
want?
time for retaping.
You're taping it back up? Okay.
See if
sweet,
it'll
sweet
work.
tape.
All right. So, but yeah, it's just a swordfish, which I mean, you get the pun in there of the fact that you have sword, which
I
know
that went
Lucas-
over my head.
I know. What?
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, if I know anybody who can freaks with some puns.
What
Speaking
are-
of,
what-
you kill somebody with a swordfish. What do you say?
You say, now that's the catch of the day.
I'm so bad at puns.
Are marlins
Miso
swordfish?
swordy?
They're different.
Okay. It's a different
Marlin
breed.
Fish. You're hooked.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Let's see.
Did you say catch of the day already?
I literally said that but moments ago.
Number 3 on the list are Quackers from Crackdown 2.
Quackdown 2.
Quackdown 2. So in the game you can go to like a carnival because it ran
Open
out of
world.
ideas. Yeah. And
Carnivals.
you could unlock rubber ducks, and when you throw them, they stick to things. Their eyes start blinking red, and they explode.
It's just pretty
fun.
terrifying, really.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's meant as like a reference to, PlayStation loves ducks, the rubber ducks.
They
They've
do.
been
For some
using them.
reason.
Why?
Maybe they just used it in multiple tech demos. They're like, hey, look what our thing can do. Like the first one was, like with the PlayStation 1, they showed, hey, look at this rubber duck. Looks pretty good, right? And then for PlayStation 2, they're like, now we're going to fill this bathtub full of rubber ducks. And look at the water. And then with 3, they were like, we got 1 million rubber ducks. They even made
A game.
They made a game that was awful called Super Rub Dub, I believe it was.
Sounds sexual.
Right?
Only if you
Did you
wanted
guys
to.
ever have rubber ducks? Because I sure as heck did not.
I did.
No. I just got my toys and like my G.I. Joes.
I knew
and
there were
stuff. Just throw 'em
like
in
boats.
there.
I had like toy boats,
Right.
but
That
not.
would mess up your toys though. You get all the soap scum on
Yeah,
them.
you can. Yeah, or it'd rust the screws in the GI Joes.
Yeah.
That's why
And then the
Spider-Man
rust
never
would
moved
get in
again.
your cuts, and you'd get tetanus,
tetanus.
not tinnitus.
T-Man would do okay. in that.
Tough acting, tenactin.
Though, well, I had a rubber ducky because I really, as a kid, I loved the.
You hated bathing. You were very fussy.
The Sesame Street song. When Ernie sings about his rubber ducky, and
Rubber ducky,
And-
you're the one.
Rubber ducky.
so
Oh wait, is that Mr. Bucket or?
no, Mr. Bucket,
Bucket.
put the balls in my mouth.
Mr.
That's Mr. Bucket's song. And then it's what he says.
Rubber ducky.
And
brush to help me scrub my back. Then I've got a big fluffy towel to dry myself when I'm done. But there's one other thing
This is
that
Henry,
makes
by the
puppy
way.
time the very best time of the whole day.
What time is
And
that?
you know what that is?
What?
It's a very special friend of mine, my very favorite little pal. Oh, rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. Rodeo.
I had a
Remix.
cassette
You
of
just
that.
launch it, and you destroy things.
I had a cassette of that as a kid growing up. There was also a sequel song called "You Gotta Put Down the Ducky," where
Grow up.
well, no, it was
Time to grow up.
It was a jazzy song where there was a jazzy owl who wanted to teach Ernie how to play the saxophone, but he
Listen
couldn't
up, everybody.
play. Here he is.
We're gonna hear from a dude who is truly cool and very fresh. But he's got a problem that he wants to lay on us.
What's the problem?
Come on in, Ernie, my man.
That's Elmo's voice.
That was an owl.
Hooked on this rubber ducky.
Excuse me, Mr. Hoots, I hate to bug a busy bird, but I want to learn the sax, and I need a helpful word.
You need a helpful
I always
word.
get a silly squeak when I play the blues.
I remember this song really vividly.
Ernie, keep it cool. I teach you how to blow the sax. I think I did your
Sammy
problem.
Davis
It's
Jr.
rubber and it quacks. You'll never find the skill you seek till you pay your dues.
Lucas, this song is really written about your
You
issues.
gotta put down the ducky.
The ducky.
Put down the ducky. Put down the ducky. Yeah, you gotta leave the duck alone.
You know, true story. I used to play the saxophone. I hated it.
Did you?
Yeah, hated it. So much.
Yeah, well, with your sax skills and Sophia's piano expertise,
And
Work
Ryan's guitar.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have
Plays
3
guitar.
instruments
I can
that
play
really
guitar.
don't go well together in a band.
Kind of play the bass.
That could
They'd all
that
be
could
competing
jazzy.
for
I'm just
melody.
imagining you all like Ryan playing like Ryan's.
well, now, Sophia was like, she went to school for.
She's a pro. She's
she was
taught
a pro.
Oh,
She's
really?
taught piano.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Whereas I was just, it was so okay.
Yeah,
So my
so-
parents forced me to take saxophone lessons, extracurricular lessons, in addition to being in band class. And I remember thinking, saxophone teachers are always just a little bit creepy. And this one guy in particular,
Do they always have long hair?
And then
well,
no
the
hair
guy
on the top.
I
and
had
then
had
long
like
hair
a full
down the back.
goatee
Or just
and was
full on
balding.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one time, like, he thought as a treat, he'd be like, hey, want to have a jam session sometime? I was like, no. No, I would never want to do that.
Why didn't you have a jam session with
Talking
him?
about a different type of jam.
Yeah, kind of.
I wasn't about to
jelly
find out.
involved.
I don't think. Hey, Lucas.
But I love some easy listening
Hey,
saxophone.
Lucas. I'm your sax teacher. We're going to have a jam.
Let's have a jam session.
Yeah, I was in band, but my mom was approved of it, but then my dad made fun of me. So
What?
After
That's messed
2
up.
years, I stopped.
Knowing your dad, from what you said, I'm sure I know the word he used to describe what he thought of you playing instruments.
I thought it was nerdy. I
Oh.
was just a nerd.
It's not the word I was going to go with.
No, but he was. Well, it was
What did you play?
the baritone.
Oh.
Like a smaller tuba, but yeah,
Just a tiny little tuba.
I mean, I liked it okay, but I also didn't have the dedication to learn it or to read music.
it's
and
just a lot of commitment, and if you don't love
If you
the
don't like the
creation of
instrument,
music, then it's
yeah.
like, this sucks.
Wait, also I just lack rhythm. Like I'd always be like, I'd like read the note and be like, like
They always had they had like they never had the cool instruments at my school. Like they would have the sheet, they had guitar, trumpet, drums, and it's like, well, of course I want the guitar, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have that. Why is it on the sheet? Why? What I end up
wants
playing the
guitar,
trumpet.
you gotta-
Oh, it's so fun.
I did the trumpet, and
I hated
I did it for like half a year.
It looks like your cheeks are just
You
on
become
fire.
a frog.
The brass stuff. I don't know. I always like the string stuff.
Yeah, freaking saxophones, you get the reed, the mouthpiece, it would get all funky after
you
a
just the
while.
spit
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah, and it would just be like when you have to.
we should move on.
Yeah.
Number 2. The hand cannon from Dead Space 2.
Isn't this one of the most notoriously difficult weapons to find ever?
Well, to unlock it, you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty in the hardcore mode, which means you can't die. Like it's the permadeath mode. So
Good God.
if you can beat it on that high of a difficulty, then the next time you start the game, the first item you get is the hand cannon.
And then after you beat it on that hard difficulty mode, there's no point in playing the game at all.
No, you get the ass.
Yeah.
He actually says bang, 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 and pew, pew, pew,
pew, pew.
as he shoots it because the hand cannon is just a foam finger.
Yeah, but then
Wow.
invisible energy is hitting guys. Like it does damage. Like it's more like gusts of wind or something.
It's like the
Yeah.
force.
You don't see anything. It's almost like it's his imagination.
That's cool.
But it's unlimited ammo and all that too.
Yeah.
So,
So you just point at things.
Now,
He
does-
goes pew, 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 bang, 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 and they just get ripped apart.
Does it make the game not scary?
Well, you get it after beating the game on the hardest
you would,
difficulty.
and to
So
unlock that difficulty, you would have probably had to beat the game already like twice. So this would be your fourth playthrough. Like the scares are over. You know, it's just for funsies.
yeah, but it's really cool looking. I mean, it's a big foam finger, and that game, as I wrote in the article, it kind of makes sense considering how crazy Isaac has probably gone after having gone through this on
He's
the
seen
hardest
some
difficulty.
stuff.
He's seen some shiz.
Now, do you guys enjoy weapons that you get after beating the game this many times that
No.
essentially render the
Yeah.
game easy?
Honestly, I have never beaten a game that many times to even want to get that.
I just wouldn't do it.
I think I did God
There's
of
no
War
point
when I
unless
was
there's
young.
like an additional ending or something really
Yeah.
special. But a hand cannon, no thanks.
You can just watch the YouTube video. That's the thing. In this day and age, you'll hear, oh, there's this cool thing. Back in the old days, you go like, well, then I better play this game 30 hours so I can get that badge of honor. And I just go, oh, that's a YouTube video. Cool. And you move on with your
Yep.
life.
Number 1 is the Ostrich hammer from Red Faction Guerrilla. A lot of people asking why we didn't include Mr. Toots instead. Mr. Toots being a unicorn that farts rainbows. Personally, I think it's because that is almost too over the top. Whereas the Ostrich hammer, the fact that they made it. So the Ostrich hammer, it's actually started as an April Fool's joke. When Red Faction Guerrilla was announced, some people, I'm thinking on NeoGAF, probably pointed out that his signature weapon, the sledgehammer, kind of looked like an ostrich.
Had a beak.
Had a beak. So the reaction from the developers was for April Fools to put an ostrich hammer in the game as like an April Fool's joke. But it actually made it into the final game. The thing about it for me that makes it number one is the game is fairly serious in tone. It's all about destruction. The ostrich hammer isn't just a hammer in the shape of an ostrich. You're literally holding the neck of an entire ostrich.
And does it like ragdoll around?
It ragdolls around as you swing, and you swing the ostrich's head at people and hit them with it, and they go flying through the air because it's literally the power of a sledgehammer, but it's a flopping dead ostrich.
Kind of Flintstones-y.
It is.
Almost, right?
Yeah,
Poor
that
bird.
big floppy bird. Well, it reminds me more of the
Floppy bird.
Floppy bird. I'm sure someone's done that. But it more reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, the Disney one anyway, where they had to play croquet with the.
Oh,
I
that's
forgot
right.
about
That's
that.
She got the dopey one.
Yeah,
that
it
was
just
like.
no, he went like.
He did your normal laugh.
Hey.
Wow.
And then oh man, and then the Cheshire Cat like pulled up the queen's dress.
Oh,
when
yeah.
She
Whoa,
was like, oh, I
come
bet
on.
this will make her really mad.
Yeah. And she's like,
He sexually harassed.
she's like aiming,
the Queen
and her
of
butt's
Hearts.
like,
Uh-huh.
gross. It's gross.
That's weird.
You got
That's
to
a
see
weird
her-
thing to put in a kids movie.
Yeah.
Well, it
That's
was
Disney,
just to
though.
embarrass her.
No,
It was
it
not
was funny.
sexualized like she.
Yeah,
is.
she had those big puffy white
Yeah,
underwears
giant-
from like
The
the
granny
1800s, yeah.
panties.
Balloon.
as they
No,
call
they weren't even that. They were like
Or 17.
bloomers. Or
Oh, yeah.
just like, yeah. Which is what they call in Japan. If you've watched any anime like of high school girls when they wear like the sort of gym pants, they're called bloomers. They're like burumas.
it. Pantsus.
No, pantsu. That's panties.
Yeah.
Those are panties.
Ooh. Panties.
Well, I've always in the UK, I see that they call underpants pants. Like I remember
What?
in
call
well
them
yeah in
pants.
the
So
in
what do
the-
they call pants?
I think
Pants.
Overpants.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's overpants.
proper pants.
Trousers.
Trouser. Yeah, they call them trousers. Well, I don't know.
Proper
I don't,
pants.
I don't know what they call pants, but I do know that back when the devil, not Dead or Alive.
Back when the
Dead or
devil
Alive-
walked the earth.
Back when Dead or Alive 3D was coming out or was getting previewed, like Matt Cundy, one of the old UK editors, when he wrote up a preview for it, it's just the picture on it was just in big orange text on it, 3D pants, and I thought, what are you talking about? In this picture, it's just a girl in a bathing suit. Like this isn't even pants. And so what he was meaning was 3D
Bit of a
pants.
cultural difference. Cultural divide.
Any other facts about the UK while you're?
Oh yeah, that they don't really know what Yelp is.
We discovered that recently.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
found that out.
Oh, they don't
And
have Yelp?
What?
How do they find food?
and that they got Captain America before us. They got it last week.
I also read that there's a scene in the movie where Captain America pulls out like his to-do list based on like what did he miss in the when he was frozen, and they have it. It's different in the U.S. and the UK.
Region.
Though I
Meet the
think it
Queen.
was, I think like one of
Specialized.
the references in the UK version was actually a reference to something in America, and it was something weird.
Though I know Andy hard up on the UK team. When I told him, like he didn't even know it was out there last week. And I told when I last talked to him, I said, I'm super jealous. You guys can watch Captain America like last week. He's like, oh, we can.
Huh?
I
Wow.
was not aware.
Didn't
of
even
this.
care.
Nope.
So that's it for the top 7 silliest weapons in totally serious games. That's, of course, why we talked about the British word for pants and Captain America. You can check out a new top 7 every week on GamesRadar.com. Follow us on Facebook. Do all that stuff. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, current events. Welcome back to Radio Radar episode 83. We're going to jump into the news and current events, starting with the Amazon Fire TV, Amazon's video game console. Oh, wait. Lucas,
Or not.
you wrote about this. Can you give some insight?
Yes. So Amazon put out the Fire TV, which is a living room desktop. No, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a little
Streaming
set
box.
top,
It's a
a
little-
set top
it's a little
box
square.
Oh.
with streaming of apps, and it can also support games because it has Android technology in
Right.
it, which we saw with the Ouya. But Amazon can't seem to decide, is this a game console? Should gamers care? Or is this not for them? Because I received and saw a lot of coverage calling the Fire TV a console, which, that's a word we associate with games at this point. But one of the executives at Amazon, Peter Larson, who is in charge of the Kindle, he called it absolutely not a game console, which
Did
is...
he say absolutely?
He said...
app?
No, I wish he did. Maybe then I would buy into this. But it's very weird to hear like one of the major higher-ups who's presenting Fire TV say, oh yeah, this isn't for games.
Certainly not. This isn't a game console.
Yeah, and it's a weird, like, do they think it'll be perceived badly if they hype up the gaming aspect, or do they just not care? And what makes it really weird is that Amazon has their own game studio, Amazon Game Studios, and they also recently acquired Double Helix Games, who made Killer Instinct and Strider.
And not just them too, but
Yes.
also Kim Swift
and Clint Hawking. Kim Swift, who worked on Portal, and Clint, who worked on Far Cry 2. So it's like all of these, fairly big players in the gaming space, and yet the Fire TV is not a gaming console. It doesn't really add up.
That's a lot of money to spend to get people to work on games that aren't that aren't a priority.
Yeah, and the games that are coming out for Fire TV, they look, decently interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly seem to have a wider breadth of content than the Ouya did at launch. But
I mean, it just has it promises thousands of games. They also did make a big deal that they have Telltale as well. Like they're going to have The Walking Dead
and Disney, Ubisoft, I think,
and Game of Thrones too. Like so.
But it's not a gaming console.
I was thinking about this week too, and I think it's more so that just they don't want they feel like they'll be like ghettoized or whatever if they
lumped
say,
in with
they're like, oh, we're a game console. Well, then Granny doesn't like, oh, I don't want video games. I want to watch Downtown Abbey.
Just get me a Roku.
Yeah. Well,
which I'm never gonna set up because my son didn't set it up for me.
God,
they did it on Christmas, but it broke, and I'm fine.
It's a Roku.
Did everyone set up a Roku for their parents at one point in time? Because I did.
I need to.
I set up a Chromecast.
I set up Netflix.
She was like,
on
I have
the
no
Wii.
use for that. I have Amazon Prime. I was like, that's the only thing that isn't on here. Taking it back.
Yeah. Well, now you can get, if they have Amazon Prime, now the Fire is the thing to get them.
I plugged in my Chromecast. I plugged it in.
Congratulations.
Tested it, and I've never used it since then.
See? No point. Sounds cool on
But
paper.
with this, I can kind of see a point. And like you were saying, there are people who are like, I might not want it because it's a video game console. But like, I could see people, especially with Telltale game. I think Telltale probably has the biggest coup of all in this because it's like, hey, I know you don't like video games. Interactive
like
novel.
Walking Dead, don't you?
Yeah, interactive novel based on Game of Thrones. Do it.
Bam.
Do it.
Well, though, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's a huge get because Telltale puts their stuff on everything. That's their
but
that's their goal.
nothing that isn't a video game console.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
And this kind of isn't. It's just it's a phone.
It's in a weird middle space right now.
Also, I was surprised when I went to Amazon, the Fire TV page, for the order page, and they have a list of.
Did you buy one?
And I did not. I don't need it. That doesn't stop me from buying lots of things on Amazon because when I don't need them. But I haven't bought this. But it had, this thing that showed what can this do compared to, Roku, Chromecast, and all these, and its competition. And it listed, we have all these things that other people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But then they for some reason they included HBO Go on the list, even though they don't have HBO Go. Like, it was the one thing where like they don't have HBO Go and all their competitors do. And I thought it was
bizarre.
weird they included it. Even like, why'd you have it? Other than just to be maybe just for honesty,
Transparency.
just to be like, oh look, we don't have HBO Go, but we got everything else.
They promote the fact that they have Minecraft Pocket Edition, and I saw some people on Twitter making fun of it. It's like, oh, okay, Notch, I understand. Amazon, a giant corporation that collects people's information and uses it to sell ads to them, totally fine. Facebook, which does the exact same thing, creeps you out. But Amazon, they're whatever. Go ahead.
Okay.
That is That is kind of weird. If you're gonna draw the line with one thing, you kind of got to do it with all of them. Then, but if maybe he just likes buying stuff on Amazon. Well, Amazon's helped him out in regular life, so he has some favor for them compared to Facebook.
Yeah. Other big news story this week: Amy Hennig, who has recently left as the creator, she was like the director of the Uncharted series, and writer. She was the person behind Uncharted, left and was kind of, nobody knew where she was going. There were a bunch of rumors, but landed at Visceral making their Star Wars game.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be It's interesting because like Henry wrote about a couple of weeks ago, they're kind of just saying that the Star Wars games are like, they want to emphasize that all the Star Wars games are gonna get the proper like Batman Arkham Asylum treatment, where
good license.
Good licensing, good people behind the games, and they're going to be real high quality. Because we're used to the Force Unleashed games, and
that's one of the higher end ones. Really, like it. I when I think of crummy Star Wars games in recent memory, I just remember the day. So my friends and I had just seen Revenge of the Sith, and we were like, "Oh man, I'm so hyped for more Star Wars things. Well, let's play this game." The game just came out on PS2, and we played that, and we're like, "Ugh,
it was so bad.
It was just so average."
Yeah, but if you look back, I'd say that Star Wars has a better ratio than most licensed games. Yeah. I mean, you have like
Jedi Outcast.
You have Captain America or Batman or something.
Yeah,
like that.
or Spider-Man or anything.
Yeah.
You have Knights of the Old Republic. You have the Jedi Outcast series. You have Republic Commando. You have
X-Wing.
X-Wing. Like they have a really solid batting average. And even the bad ones, like Force Unleashed, isn't great. But you know what it is? Super fun and very playable.
Well, that's why this is kind of really exciting, because you had BioWare behind Knights of the Old Republic, and all these really good developers, and now you're getting really good developers behind the newer games, like DICE is handling the new Battlefront. And Visceral is doing whatever this new one is, which could be whatever the hell it is.
I mean, I'm happy happy that Visceral, like, they're like, listen, you guys did good with Dead Space. Yeah. You did good with Dead Space 2. Dead Space 3 is probably our fault. But
microtransactions.
You're just here is Star Wars. Like you're our apology for making you do what you did to Dead Space 3 is Star Wars and Amy Hennig.
Yeah.
Like Amy Hennig is crazy respected in the industry. There's very little cynicism that follows her around.
Yeah, it's a big get to get her in charge of it. And so if they want to make a serious like solo action fun game in Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh, well
said. That is the other. See, you said you weren't good at puns.
Did you read his article? It was 3/4 Star Wars quotes. We did very well, by the way.
Yeah, it got shared a lot. But read that article. I wrote it up yesterday. It's basically
hot
about
off the
Amy Hennig joining Visceral, and what kind of first came to my mind when this happened was since Star Wars 1313 was such like Uncharted sort of kind of game that it looked like Uncharted, that this could be the chance to like pull that up and revive that franchise right there. But I don't really think it's gonna happen. I really think that she's gonna come in and they're gonna make something totally unique, because all the Star Wars EA people have been saying that they don't want to really tie the games into the movies, the new trilogy that's coming out, and the spin-off movies that are rumored. They're rumored to have Boba Fett and Han Solo movie, and maybe a Yoda movie. So
that'd be weird.
I think the Yoda thing would be just
the Boba Fett.
What if it was a Pixar Yoda movie?
Yeah, I'd be kind of down for that. I don't know.
I only want Yoda.
I like computer animated Yoda from the Clone Wars. He's so awesome.
Flipping all over.
I only like a puppety, decrepit Yoda.
Yeah,
that's because you're an old bitter man who has no fun left in your soul.
The Clone Wars Yoda is pretty awesome. I really.
But I love when you can see Yoda move his mouth like fingers are behind it. It was just like,
that's it again. And you're an old bitter man. Like, I only like things that I don't like being tricked. Don't you dare show. Like, if I see a puppet, change. I want to see the hand from underneath. I want to know that there's an underpaid actor with his hand up Yoda's ass, crunching his fingers to speak in cryptic rhyme.
And I'm not talking about the Clone Wars Yoda from the movie, the Clone Wars movie
I mean,
Yoda, the
you could have
whatever.
been
I
if you
mean,
wanted to.
the show.
But
It's
the animated
begun
series.
Yeah.
this Clone Wars.
No, I
series.
wouldn't be surprised if they. I definitely think they are going to do like, a full film. They're just going to follow like the Marvel model. It's done them so well that the Avengers is the episode number for Star Wars,
Right.
and then in between you get the other characters.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that's cool too because they don't really go, especially when Lucas had the movies going. It was like Phantom Menace, then it's 10 years later, then Attack of the Clones, and then it's like 5 more years later, and all this stuff happens in between. You're supposed to know what's going on. You really don't.
So Star Wars question.
Yeah.
You look very happy right now.
Go.
So they're doing. Let's say 2015 is new trilogy start. 2016 is Boba Fett.
Right.
What if the Boba Fett movie's really good and they want to make a sequel? Where the fuck would that fit? Or do they just start doing 2 a year? I feel like they could do 2 a year.
I think they've mentioned that the spin-off movies don't necessarily need to tie into the the trilogy movies.
Sure, yeah.
So they could just do, like, if they wanted to do a Han Solo origin story, they could do that, and that's way before like all the new
how he
trilogy
first
stuff.
met
Yeah.
Chewie, I guess.
How I Met Your Chewie.
Yeah, How I Met Your Chewie, and like how he birthed some Jedi twins and stuff like that. But I really don't know how they would do sequels with characters.
It's gonna be
Boba
it's gonna
Fett.
be like Modern Warfare. Like they're gonna have to be like Star Wars Boba Fett Tales Episode 4.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what they're gonna do with Boba Fett. He's not really that compelling of a character. He's just a guy that stands around.
Looks
in
cool.
in a helmet. I mean, he looks
I would bet
cool.
there'd be a Boba Fett origin story.
I mean,
Yeah.
the rumor that's going around now is that movie is going to start off with the Boba Fett we've seen in the previous movies being shot in the back and
Right.
having his stuff stolen by a random guy
And
who
I like
assumes
that.
that identity.
But
Make
the-
it super Western.
The thing that they would have to do, right? They would have to go back into the original trilogy and change Boba Fett's voice back to not the clone guy's voice.
They could just make him. They could make him do an impression.
Oh, God.
So much work.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a voice modulator.
Yeah, in the helmet.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean,
In
Darth
any
Vader
case.
has one.
I just want them to go back and change the original trilogy back.
Change it
All right.
back.
Other big news story from this week, and it's actually about a big news story for next week. Super Smash Brothers Nintendo Direct coming on Tuesday.
Maybe
What do
they'll
you-
finally name the freaking game.
I think it's just going to be called Super Smash Brothers.
I think it's just going to be called Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. Like, I think it could just stay.
That's so lame.
Well, what are they going to call it? Super Smash Brothers Tussle or
Rumble.
Super Rumble.
Universe.
Why not? Anything, something.
Yeah.
Some kind
Whatever.
of acronym.
But I'm excited for it because they've had a steady leak of information, or not, well, trickle, not leak. They didn't leak anything, but there's been a steady trickle of info. And then, it's just kind of stopped in the last, like, there hasn't been a character announcement in over a month now since Little Mac. And, Diddy Kong. But yeah, we've been,
So
no,
there has
Diddy
been
Kong
a
was a week after. It's still been over a month. It's still been over a month. But we expected Yoshi to get announced last month in March, and it didn't happen. And now we also wondered, when is there going to be a Nintendo Direct? There should be one in April.
Yep.
And now it's both of these together, and that it's only Smash Brothers, a game that they've been very sparing with. Like
they've released over 100 screenshots and only like 2 minutes of footage. Like we really haven't seen the game that much, all things considered. They just keep, like, there are trailers that show stuff off, but they haven't been like, all right, so there's a level creator, or okay, here's how online multiplayer is going to work. Like, all of the actual details haven't been revealed yet, which is kind of cool. We've seen it so much and know so little.
Yeah.
You know what I'm... Oh, sorry, Henry. Go.
And it could just also be about bigger online details. Like, they haven't talked about how online would work, or, like how Mario Kart is going to have something... How much I can say.
They're going to have some
Mario
kind of
Kart's
online.
gonna have some
Careful.
online component for like sharing stuff.
I mean, they
But
had it in the last one. It was the Mii channel,
Oh,
or
yeah,
the
the Mii channel.
Mario
So-
Kart channel. And they had it with on the 3DS version. So there's going to be an evolution of that.
I wonder what kind of user created things.
Drivatars.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they're
Smash
gonna have
Bros.
user
That could be
created
cool.
stuff in Smash Bros.
I've been waiting for years for a fighting game to just be like, all right, we've noticed that when you play Mario, you spend 14% of your time in the air, you spend 10% of your time running, you always, in this case, go for this thing. So we're just going to create a character that you can send to your opponents and
Sparring
vice
partner.
versa. And that would be like, this is about how they play. I feel like that would be information that would be not that difficult to turn into a playable character. It would just be modifying the AI.
Guys, let's place bets now. How much do you want to bet that Nintendo will still not realize that players want stock as the default play mode, not time?
No, I bet it'll stay. I'm betting Sakurai prefers timed, and that's and it's kind of his.
No
call.
one plays that way.
I play time sometimes.
all
You know what?
fighting
You know
games
why?
I hate time.
Here's why I play time sometimes. Because not everyone I play against is as good as me, and I don't want them
You
to
don't
be
want-
kicked out of the game so quickly. So when I play with Lorenzo over here, he's not
jeez.
wailing like a baby when I knock him out in 10 sec.
Remember how Zach said he was good at Smash Brothers? I never saw anything come
Never
of
saw
that.
those skills.
Well, meanwhile,
Just warming up, guys.
Well, meanwhile, like Amber, like she didn't talk it up, but she did really good when we played.
Amber
No,
did
remember
really well.
remember at
Casey.
Gamers Intern?
Yeah, Casey. yeah, she
Fucking
was good too.
ruined us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
with
she
a
picked Pikachu.
with
so
Pikachu,
Get
yeah.
the
It
doesn't
freak
even
outta
count.
here.
Yeah,
But
doesn't
it was pretty impressive.
Anyway, the last thing I want to say about the Direct is that I think it is interesting that Nintendo showed us a bunch of stuff. Like we got to see Kirby, Golf, Mario Kart 8.
We played 2 full things of Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
And we could have, they could have put that all in a Direct as well. So I think it's interesting that they said, no, let's just get those out of the way. And so we can have all this time just for Smash Brothers. And I can't imagine they won't have a release date.
I can't.
Yeah.
This is Nintendo, Henry.
No, they've been better with release. They will have a release month. They will say they'll have a season. They will say fall.
You ready? You're ready?
Quarter.
And I am excited and be excited to play it by the end of 2014.
Yeah,
Moving on.
he'll say
This is
that.
4 minutes in, by the way. Moving on. Mario Golf is coming out, and I know we said we were going to stick to Smash Brothers, but here is 18 minutes of footage.
This was a Smash Brothers thing, but before we start that, he does that every time. Where ahead
Here's
of time they
NES
say,
remix,
"Oh, this is just a Wii U focused one," and then at the start he goes, there are some 3DS games though that I'd really like."
Now I'm going to throw it to Richard in the treehouse. Thanks, Reggie. Or thanks, Iwata. We have a lot of cool games that came out 18 years ago, and we're going to make NES Remix 12.
Yep.
I love Nintendo Directs, by the way.
Yeah,
They're
I
fun.
guarantee
they're pretty
that.
cool.
I just like the
I
webpage.
enjoy them.
And then
very
you get the
clean
nut.
design.
They haven't been as silly recently. Remember when the Year of Luigi was announced and
Yeah.
Iwata went gets whispered to by a guy in a Luigi costume and goes, "How are there so many Luigis here?" And then then just stares dead-eyed into the camera and 20 Luigis appear and he's just staring like they've kidnapped me, but they have my family. It was so good.
Yeah, I want to see him dress up more. I'm betting Sakurai will be all over this one, but
Oh, yeah.
Sakurai is not a silly guy. He seems to take Smash Brothers deadly seriously.
Yes. So that's the news from this week. And while we're talking about it, let's roll over to Mario Kart, which Henry and I both played.
And I played it too.
Lucas,
Nope. You didn't.
wait your turn.
Well, yeah, I got to play twice. Once at GDC, and then again they brought it by here. And at the GDC one, it really was like something that hasn't happened to me at a game event in a while, where they're just like, okay, you just play Mario Kart 8. Here's the tracks,
Go nuts.
here's the characters, go nuts. And it started. Well, actually, it was supposed to start at 6. It was more like 6:30 when it started. But
Important
I
detail
mean-
to the story.
anyway,
What time did it start, Henry?
I start playing, and I'm just having fun, and Lucas and Donnie are there, our intern, and then I'm just what seems to be playing for a very short amount of time, and then Lucas and Donnie come by, they're like, "Hey, so we're getting out of here. We gotta go." I was like, "What? All right, sure, slackers. See you later. Go off to your party or whatever." And then after I finished the race, after they had left, I looked at my phone and it was 8:15.
Oh, good.
And yeah, they were leaving at the right time. Nintendo would just let us keep playing like they didn't care. That was also what was cool, that the Nintendo people who were there, they were having a lot of fun with it, and I don't think it was faking. I feel like at other press events you might see PR guys going like, "This game's so cool, I love playing it," but it felt a lot more genuine at this Nintendo event. They were having internal tournaments while we were there,
And they were trading hey, what's your favorite combination of wheels and carts and glider?
yeah, it was great. And then they came by and you played it with me too.
I played 2 full courses.
3 cups?
2 cups.
It was so beautiful.
It really was. Visually, it's so much more impressive than you expect. It's running, I think, at 60 frames a second.
Ooh.
And God
yeah,
damn, does it look good.
Those 60 frames.
It looks really good, and I had a ton of fun. You can read the previews on. And we have some more features going up next week. I'd say what do you think the biggest changes are? The biggest change I think is the new change to items.
Yeah, well, I do think the anti-grav is seemingly the big change, and it changes the race course layout a bit.
Right.
But items are a bit different now.
Yeah, so before, like, you grab a shell, you hold the shell button, or you hold the attack button, and the shell sits behind you, and you go and you grab another item. Now that's still considered an item you have. You can't let things trail behind you, even like banana peels.
Well, you can do it for defensive reasons, but it still takes up your slot.
Right.
You don't get to double pack items that way.
Yeah.
Did you get to try the new boomerang?
Yeah.
Shot?
that was
That
really
thing
cool.
is
It was
amazing.
like the green shell, except you get two chances to hit.
Yeah,
something.
and you
it
could
can
hit
hit
the
people-
whole
yeah.
pack of.
There and back again, a boomerang's tail.
Aren't they doing a thing too where you could choose which items will pop up, so you could
Yes,
have all
you can do that.
bananas or
Yeah.
no
Really?
bananas? Or
Yep.
I did not know that.
You could take out the blue shell now, and
Oh,
it's kind I think it's kind
shit.
of like how Smash Brothers does it, where you have the list of the
Oh,
items and you can switch them.
that's
on and off.
amazing.
Does everyone here have a Wii U?
No.
No.
Just Henry and I?
Yes.
Well,
You guys had to get
Well,
it, because
I'll get one.
I will
I'm gonna
have
get
one
one
for
soon.
Smash Brothers.
if you
so
were
What about
excited
for Mario
Smash
Kart?
Brothers, just if you're
sure,
gonna get it
sure.
for Smash Brothers, just get it for Mario Kart.
Here's the reason.
I'm
'cause
saying I will.
Here's something we were discussing, and this is important to the people listening because it doesn't reference them at all. Everyone one day is going to have to bring in their system, set it up on their screen, hook it up online, and play online. Everyone
Single
in the
screen.
same
Oh,
room.
yeah, I'm down.
Old school style.
Old school LAN.
Land party.
I'm up for that.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be
yeah.
cool.
I can't wait. And no, but yeah, it was. You've never seen a Nintendo game look that good. Like, it's so different.
It's
Does
weird.
it look better than does it look better
not
than Gran
right.
Turismo 6? No,
Maybe.
not. But
Well, in its own way.
It's
so
stylized.
Yeah, it's so stylized, so colorful, and there's little. I love how their headlights turn on in caves and stuff, or in alleyways.
Tunnels.
Also, the retro levels are changed so much too. Like the.
barely recognized.
It's not just when the Super NES levels they had to play, like they still have like red and blue blocks around, but then now there's some anti-grav portions where you drive across the air.
One of my
or-
favorites is like a donut style level, or it's sort of like an oval. That's the one, I think it's from like the original game, where it's just a big ass oval, but now half of the oval is vertical. And you hit anti-grav and go up and around and then hit back to the ground.
That's cool.
And it's like you don't really notice it the first time, but then when you're driving towards it and you just see people go like, whoop, up, it's really cool.
And Toad's Turnpike 2 is great.
I loved Toad's Turnpike. I'm so happy it's back.
And we didn't get to play it, but the N64 Rainbow Road is back in it too. So,
Oh my.
which makes this music appropriate.
I wonder if they'll keep in the shortcut.
No.
There were a lot of shortcuts. I didn't get to try out, but I saw them to the side, and I was like, wow.
Did you play as Shy Guy?
I played as.
I played as Ludwig von Koopa.
That's my boy,
I
too.
only played as Koopalings because
They're
there are
too good.
7 of them.
Yeah,
played-
7?
Oh, Roy. Yeah, it's all 7 of the Koopa kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Roy, Wendy O, Ludwig von, Lemmy, Iggy, Morton
Snapsel.
Downey, Morton Koopa Jr., and one I'm forgetting.
All of whom play second fiddle to the true king, Baby Bowser.
There's no Baby Bowser in this game.
I know, I'm sad.
They're-
There's
Did they
Baby
ever show
Peach
up
and
together?
Baby Daisy.
I don't think they ever show up together.
No, they show up in the
no.
new Mario games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for the current events. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, jump into the community segment. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Radio Radar, episode 83. We gotta jump into the community segment, and before we go,
Corrections. You screwed up.
Lucas.
Huh?
EAC 73. One minor correction, Lucas. Lucas, you mentioned the Pokemon episode that caused seizures, and you said it was electrodes that caused it. Not so! You screwed up. When it was actually Team Rocket shooting a missile at Ash and this gang riding a Porygon.
Riding a Porygon.
Yeah, it was in the Porygon episode.
Why would that cause lights to flash?
It was the one that had the most coloring in it. Like the Porygon was inside a computer, so it already had a bunch of crazy colors.
So it's like okay,
That's
like
the
a
one that had the most
motherboard.
colors. Remember in the first? Did you guys talk about this last week? I guess in the first season of Pokemon, they darkened every flash in every episode because of fears of causing seizures. Like
Essentially, yes.
but it was that specific collection of colors in that one episode.
And I think it was like a very prolonged amount of time that you were staring
Also, here's a fun fact. Porygon is his name in Japan and America, one of the Pokemon that shares a name.
Sure.
And it is because of the way Japanese people pronounce polygon.
They don't have L's.
Polygon. Polygon.
All right, I got the footage of the Caesar
Chavez.
I don't know how the audio is going to be,
watch
but we're all going to watch it and get seizures real quick.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at. Oh, that's so loud. Oh God! Wow! It's still going.
Oh, really?
That is.
So
real.
everybody was like, ah, and then the kids are like, ah, and the parents are like, ah.
So yeah, it's a lot of flashing colors.
That
Like,
was-
you know what it looks like? You ever get like a stuck pixel in a screen and turn on like a pixel fixer? That's basically what it looks like, except it's firing out of rockets.
And that was literally 90% of the screen.
Yeah. So yeah, let's jump into the question of the week. Last week was which video game character do you think has a secret there? Which video game character do you think has a secret they're hiding? Lucas, why don't you read this first one?
Sure thing. Testicles says, I think Clementine has Gary Coleman syndrome. She's actually a middle-aged woman with the appearance of a child. She uses this to her advantage by posing as a child to manipulate other survivors, helping her avoid dangerous situations and responsibility.
And that was Testicles.
Banquo's stepson says, Mario is secretly planning to take over the Mushroom Kingdom through a people's revolution. Hear me out. The reason Mario doesn't
Don't
just
read this
fit
whole thing. It's really long.
Bowser. When the revolution succeeds, Bowser will then come forward and pledge his fealty to Mario. Good word, because Bowser cannot best Mario in battle. Mario will then make good on his promise by giving Bowser and his people the Badlands of the Mushroom Kingdom. Don't know how that's a secret.
So it's basically
No,
like
he's saying that's the secret Mario
yeah,
has.
that's the secret he has. He's basically doing that.
He's plotting this whole time to weaken the kingdom and then take over.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy says Marcus Phoenix has a huge Barbie collection. I know, right? Vent says Tally from Mass Effect has a secret. Forget about that photo of her on Shepard's desk. That's just a lie so Shepard can sleep at night. What's really under that mask is a gooey purple predator face. Since Shepard is such a pro, he didn't even flinch when he removed Tally's mask, just so that he didn't look like a giant douche. Good of him. Good of him.
Nice.
And Winner2 says, I think Nathan Drake's got plenty of secrets. He is the definition of that gorgeous man with a fascinating past and secrets.
The winner this week,
I would like to know what the secret is.
The winner this week, though, is Vent. I like the idea of just Shepard sitting there and she's like, we're going to have sex, takes the mask off, and he's looking at her predator face, and he's just like, okay,
yeah.
I can do this. So Vent.
In his head, he's screaming.
Send a message to RadioRadar at GamesRadar.com, and we'll get you something from the office.
Something cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, question of the week from this week. What's your favorite video game weapon of all time?
Ah, good. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
I
Let's
like
see.
the guitar from Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. It's pretty interesting.
That's a good one. It's very spiky.
Yes, very much so.
I like the Farsight. I don't think that the game it comes from, Perfect Dark, is necessarily playable anymore, but I loved the fact that you would just look through walls and shoot your friends. It was really rewarding, and they'd get very angry.
I'm going to go with the Farsight because you said it as I was thinking of it. No, I'm going to go with the Tanuki tail because I just love the sound it makes, and then that a raccoon tail is powerful enough to break bricks. I think that's a pretty badass Tanuki tail, and it has the bonus power of turning you into a Buddhist monk statue.
Which is just wild.
I'm going to go with the lightsaber from Jedi Outcast.
I'm shocked.
Because
Little
it's the best best use of a lightsaber ever. It's not just a glowing stick.
Because it can actually make holes in walls.
And you could draw stuff. Like, man, just do that again. Star Wars games.
God
Just
dang
do
it.
it again.
I think I have to go with the double barrel shotty in Doom. I ended up writing that entry and remembered, like, wow, this is one of the most satisfying weapons of all time. It's amazing.
Quite satisfying.
Yeah.
So leave your response and aim for something that isn't on our 100 weapons list.
Yeah.
Why don't you? Unlike
Unlike,
Lucas and I, who
cop out
did ones that we specifically
McGee over
wrote.
here.
Lightsaber was on that list
Yeah, that
too.
was
yeah.
on there, too.
All right, fine.
But
fine, I'll
I
see how
said one I didn't write.
All right.
I was the most creative.
You're better
person
than
here.
us, Henry.
Hey, also iTunes reviews, right? Huh?
Yeah, how about
Remind
those?
people those. I really like when we get iTunes reviews.
Yeah, you should definitely write an iTunes review about how good the cameras are in this room that we're in right now. Even if this video doesn't end up posting, explain how much you like the fact that this is a video podcast now, even if it isn't.
How your favorite part was when the GoPro slammed into the
Twice.
Twice.
Yep.
I
Gotta use
totally
that
called
footage.
that. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
This day is okay now. So that's it. Like, subscribe. Wait, that's YouTube shit. Comment. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to be tweeting more from the RadioRadar Twitter in the near future.
Deals.
Some behind the scenes. No, not deals. That's going to be behind the scenes in the office.
Oh, wow.
Funny things that are said and the like. And we'll talk to you next week.